wasn't in Silicon Valley or Wall Street or even Beijing, but in the middle of the desert, a place where helicopters replace taxis and gold isn't stored in vaults, but sprinkled on cappuccinos, where royalty walks alongside AI robots, and where skyscrapers rise out of the sand like hallucinations. This isn't fiction. This is the modern Gulf. In the heart of Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Qatar, there exists a lifestyle so lavish it seems like another planet. Yet it's fueled by something very real: oil money and geopolitical ambition. But how did these desert kingdoms become playgrounds for the ultra-rich? What's the long game behind the luxury? And most importantly, what happens when the oil dries up? This isn't just a story about fast cars and gold-plated jets. It's about legacy, power, and what the future of civilization might look like when money has no limits. Stay with us, because the deeper we go, the more surreal and revealing it becomes. Before oil, this region was known for pearl diving, fishing, and nomadic herding. Life was tough. Water was scarce, cities were small. Then in the mid-20th century, everything changed. Vast oil reserves were discovered beneath the sand, first in Bahrain, then Saudi Arabia, then across the region. Almost overnight, nations that were once overlooked became geopolitical powerhouses. And the wealth that followed, it didn't trickle in, it exploded. Between the 1970s oil boom and the present day, Gulf economies have earned trillions. But the wealth didn't just build roads and airports. It built dynasties. It built palaces the size of cities. And it created a new class of billionaire. One who wasn't a CEO or innovator, but a monarch with sovereign access to oil revenues. Let's paint a picture. In the Gulf, wealth is not subtle. Here's how it manifests. The police in Dubai drive Bugattis and Lamborghinis. In Abu Dhabi, there's a palace with over 1,000 crystal chandeliers. In Qatar, royal family members collect private islands the way others collect art. In Saudi Arabia, $500 billion is being spent to build a futuristic megacity called NEOM, featuring flying taxis, robot caretakers, and an artificial moon. And the personal spending? It's staggering. While the average global consumer spends around $40 per day, some Gulf billionaires are reported to spend up to $500,000 on a single night's entertainment. For example, a Saudi prince once reportedly spent $20 million on a single month-long vacation, flying in chefs, entertainers, and luxury furniture. Dubai's royal family owns over 100 luxury cars per member, many customized with diamond-studded interiors. Qatar's royal family has invested more than $10 billion in London real estate alone, from Harrods to the Shard. Compare this to billionaires in the West. While American or European billionaires often build empires from scratch and answer to boards, regulations, or public shareholders, Gulf billionaires operate with free inherited capital and total control over domestic law and policy. They don't need to pitch to investors. They are the state. This is opulence at scale, designed not just to impress, but to announce global arrival. Every glittering surface, every mile-high tower says, we're not just rich, we're rewriting the future. But here's the twist. It's not just about looking rich. It's about becoming untouchably relevant, economically, politically, and culturally. And that's where it gets strategic. Coming up, why Gulf royalty are buying football teams, Hollywood studios, and space tech startups. It's not just play, it's power projection. To outsiders, it may look like over-the-top spending, but in reality, it's carefully calculated. The Gulf's billionaires are building more than playgrounds. They're building brands for their countries. They've learned a powerful lesson. In a media-driven world, image is influence. That's why Qatar bought the World Cup, why Saudi Arabia is investing billions into esports, AI, and cinema, why Abu Dhabi owns stakes in Hollywood, Barclays Bank, and even Elon Musk's ventures, and why the Saudi Public Investment Fund has launched LIV Golf, taken control of Newcastle United, and made sweeping investments in everything from Uber to Nintendo. These aren't hobbies, they're levers. Levers of soft power, because when you control cultural currency, sports, entertainment, luxury, you shape how the world sees you. And if the world sees you as glamorous, futuristic, and indispensable, you become more than an oil producer. You become untouchable. It's also a form of future-proofing. In a world where military power is polarizing and oil power is declining, influence is the new currency. The Gulf knows this, and it's playing the game with no spending cap. But behind all this flash lies a more complex truth. This world is built on something finite, oil, and oil doesn't last forever. Coming up next, what happens when the black gold runs out, and can luxury survive without it? Let's pause the luxury for a moment, because behind the billion-dollar skylines is a labor force often invisible to the headlines. Construction workers from Bangladesh, Pakistan, the Philippines, Kenya, many of them live in labor camps far from the towers they build. They endure 12-hour shifts in scorching heat. Some earn less in a year than a Gulf billionaire spends on a handbag. Yes, reforms have been made. Yes, conditions have improved. But the contrast remains striking. The world's most extravagant wealth, built by the world's most underpaid workers. The Gulf's prosperity is real, but it's also layered, and not every layer is gilded. So as we celebrate the ambition, we also have to ask, who gets to live the dream, and who only builds it? Up next, the trillion-dollar question. Can this luxury economy survive without oil? Even the billionaires of the desert know one truth. Oil is a countdown clock. Global demand may peak within a decade. Climate goals are pressuring consumption. So the question isn't if change is coming, it's when. That's why you'll hear phrases like Vision 2030, economic diversification, and post-oil future from nearly every Gulf leader. They're pouring hundreds of billions into tourism hubs, renewable energy, tech startups, entertainment cities, smart infrastructure. It's a bold bet that the Gulf can evolve from energy exporters into idea exporters. But here's the challenge. The infrastructure of luxury, mega projects, artificial islands, futuristic cities still runs on old wealth. Without continued oil income or successful diversification, these projects could stall. Some analysts warn that if diversification fails, the Gulf could face a fiscal cliff as oil revenues decline. Unfinished skyscrapers, empty theme parks, artificial intelligence cities with no residents. But if it succeeds, the region may become a blueprint for what post-resource prosperity looks like. A future where the wealth of nations is measured not by what's underground, but by what's imagined above it. So can the dream survive, or will the desert reclaim the mirage? Coming up, one final reflection that ties together wealth, ambition, and legacy. The desert has always been a symbol of survival, of beauty, of illusion. Today, it's a mirror reflecting what humanity can build when money has no limits, but also what we risk forgetting. The Gulf's billionaires have built a dreamscape of luxury, innovation, and ambition. They've reshaped skylines and in many ways redefined what's possible. But the question isn't just how rich can you become? It's what do you leave behind when the oil is gone? If you found this story as surreal and real as we have, hit like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. If you had $1 billion in a desert with no limits, what would you build?